Dear all, we welcome you to the Surviving the Viva Day, which aims at introducing the Doctoral Dissertation Examination module. My name is Eleni Komodromou, and I'm the Doctoral Dissertation Examination Coordinator. I will be one of the school members that will assist you during this stage. Dr. Olga Novohatskaya, the Dean of the School of Doctoral Studies, will present to you the structure of the dissertation examination module, which includes the Viva Voce examination and the requirements for doctoral degree completion. Then we will proceed with the question and answers session. I now give the floor to Dr. Olga Novohatskaya for her presentation.
Thank you, Ms. Eleni. I will like to start sharing my screen. If you could stop sharing, please. Okay, welcome all to today's Viva Voce Surviving the Viva Day. Okay, I'm not sure where are you at your educational journey. Maybe you are at stage 4, probably at examination stage. Just to confirm that you can see my screen. All good?
Yes, everything.
Okay. So what we will do today, we will go through the VLE and I will show you the structure of the doctoral dissertation examination stage. And we will explain step by step what is required from you as a doctoral student in order to prepare yourself for Viva Voce examination and what documents and procedures and guidelines we have on our VLE in order to support you and provide you with more information and help you to prepare for Viva Voce examination. So we start with the welcome section on the VLE. If you enter your doctoral dissertation examination stage, you'll start with welcome session, and here you will be able to find the Surviving the Viva Day recording that will be placed there. It's usually updated. Okay, you will find the latest recording here, and you will be able to again to watch this Surviving the Viva Day, including the Q&A section in case you need to refresh it. Okay, here we provide, so what is expected from you at doctoral dissertation examination stage? You will need to compile your thesis in one document, since at stage 1, 2, 3, and 4, you were producing different stages, different chapters of the thesis, chapter 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And now this is the time to combine them all together and produce the whole thesis. You will proceed with production of your thesis presentation. This presentation is going to be used for your examination, so it will be up to 40 minutes. We will have the template provided to you, and you will be able to produce it according to the guidelines. Then we will proceed and invite you to pre-Viva examination, where you will be able to mock your examination with our faculty members. You will submit the revised thesis if necessary, and then depending on the decision, you will be able to proceed to graduation, or it will be needed to do some changes. So now we will go step by step in more details regarding the progress through your examination section. Okay, here we have some useful materials. We have linked to the Student Help Center, where we have the section as well that could provide you additional information that could help you through Viva Voce examination. We have Viva Voce examination documents folder, and let's see, the Viva Voce examination documents include Viva Voce examination preparation document. So let's see what is that. This document provides you and guides you through the process of Viva Voce examination. We provide you with different steps that you need to follow. For example, you start with the first one. you will need to familiarize yourself with rules, regulations, and procedures. This is a separate document that exists on the VLE, on the dissertation examination module, that you will need to read separately, and I will show you later. You need to read it carefully, and you need to know what is expected from you, from the examiners, from your supervisor, and the committee. Then you need to ensure that the technical aspects of examination are ready. So you make sure at the pre-Viva or Viva examination, you have the stable internet connections, at least as good as possible. We know that some of you are located in the areas with some disruptions of power or internet. So at least for that 2 hours for pre-Viva and 3 hours for Viva, please try to find the place where you have more stable connection. We ask you to avoid using cafes or public places because it will distract you. It will not be possible to focus on the examination. You prepare for the examination. Okay, and some technical instructions on how to place your camera so we can see you, what you need to have next to you in order to be able to not to be distracted, and so on. And then for the examination, again, since you will be combining your thesis in one document, you will need to re-know your thesis. You familiarize yourself again. You need to know it from A to Z in order to quickly answer to the examination questions. Okay. Then you think about possible questions and practice your responses. You can search on the internet what possible questions could be asked at Viva examination. Think about it, and we provide to you some general questions that you can use in order to prepare yourself, at least initially, where to start with. And we suggest that you write this down. You write your answers down, so it helps you to formulate these questions, and it will help you to be more fluent in answering this. Then, once you know who your examiners are, we recommend that you go online and search some information about your examiners. What are their research interests? What were their latest publications? So you read about this, and probably it could be areas that they would be more focused on in your thesis. Okay, that could come up with some more questions. As we mentioned, the next document is Viva Voce Examination Rules, Regulations, and Procedures. This document in details describes the regulations and procedures, separate roles and responsibilities of each member of the Viva examination, okay, as a School of Doctoral Studies, doctoral candidate, what they need to do, external and internal examiner, independent chair, the supervisor, and in case you have, academic advisor. It describes the process, the timeline for pre-Viva examination and Viva Voce examination, and what is necessary to be done following the Viva Voce examination. This is what we call post-Viva Voce examination. We describe here the possible decisions. Let's scroll through the document. Okay, the roles and responsibilities of all participants. You will read it in more details, have it with you on your desktop in case you need to know some more information. The timeline, okay, we say how much time it will take, what is the time frame, how much time they give to the examiners to review your thesis from the day we decide that you are allowed to proceed to Viva Voce examination. We will need to give to the examiners at least 1 month to read your thesis and prepare a report. Also, we state here the timelines for production of the report following Viva examination and some more information here about the Viva Voce examination, the maximum duration of Viva Voce examination is 3 hours. It should not exceed 3 hours. And then we break it down in different stages. So you have your presentation of 40 minutes, then examination of 1 hour by both examiners, and then the examiners will be left alone to decide regarding the final decision about your thesis. And here you can find possible decisions that could be taken by the examiners and what it means for each party, for the examiners and students. At the end of this document, you can find a doctoral thesis assessment rubric, which could show you what is expected from you regarding each decision. So in order to pass with no corrections, what is expected from you? Everything should be exceptional. Original contribution, research design, literature review, methodology, data analysis, findings and discussion, clarity and organization, critical thinking, ethics and rigor, and impact and implication. So each section of the thesis should be at exceptional level in order to allow you to proceed with no corrections. And then you can see other possible decisions: pass with minor corrections, pass with major corrections, referred, and failed. Take your time, read these documents. The next one is external examiner request form. What does this mean? You will be asked with your supervisor to come up with suggestions for external examiner. You will discuss it with your supervisor in case they have any some candidates for this position. They can suggest it to the university. In case you have someone you could suggest, you can do it. So the minimal requirement is the doctoral degree for the examiners. Okay, so they also should be active researcher, active publishing in the field. And the most importantly, but not the least important, okay, it's to be not to have any connection with the student or the supervisor. Okay, so at the end of this form, you will need to confirm and declare that you and your supervisor communicated with individuals. You need to disclose it to the committee whether you had connection to them. Did you discuss this with them? And then you need to confirm that you are not related in any way with the individuals listed above as potential examiners. They should not have been your tutors. They should not work with you at the same laboratory, same institution. You should not have the same, should not have published together. So this will be checked by the university. And in case one of the examiners is approved, we will proceed and contact them. If it's not possible and they are not approved by the university, we will allocate our own external examiners. We have quite a big pool of examiners and we can find it for you. In case you do not have any suggestion, you or your supervisor do not have any suggestions, you need to complete the form and say no suggestions at this point. No suggestions, you sign it and you still upload this form on the VLE. So we have our records. Then some instructions for submitting the final thesis on the forum. I'm sure you're familiar with these steps. Thesis presentation template. So we provide you with the thesis template. You use it as a guide. It does not mean that you should follow it 100%. Why? Because you have this template is used by different disciplines. So you may extend some parts of the presentation. If there is only one slide for results, for example, it doesn't mean that you will use only one slide for results. You will need as many slides you want for the results. Let me go to that. Literature. You can combine some slides together. Ethical findings. Okay, as you can see, we have findings for each research questions, and you may duplicate as many times as necessary. Okay, so discuss it with your supervisor. You should make sure that you use only 40 minutes for your presentation. Follow the guidelines, use the template provided by the university. If you have any questions, you can come to the School of Doctoral Studies and we will guide you further if your supervisor has any concerns about it. Then we have examiner's report form. Examiner's report form, where is it? Examiner's report form. Okay, this form you will submit after the Viva Voce examination, okay? Because you will be provided with the report. You need to clearly state which amendments were done and to what extent. If you decided that you will not proceed with these corrections that's suggested by the examiner, you need to provide the reasons for not doing so. So this is going to be the form that you use for this purpose. Then we move on through the VLE. We go back to the VLE. We discussed Viva Voce examination document. You can again see the doctoral supervisor's duties and specifically for the examination stage. And then we move on to the research publication requirements for doctoral students. It's quite a hot topic right now. So for UNICAF University in Malawi, this is obligatory for the student to have at least one publication accepted for publications. So if you are not at examination stage yet, think about it, discuss it with your supervisor, and maybe you will proceed to actually submitting parts of your thesis to the journals, peer-reviewed journals, and you will get the status of your publication as approved. For UNICAF University in Zambia, for the time being, it's not obligatory, but very soon we are expecting this to be obligatory. I should mention that some doctoral students are exempted from this requirement because they were quite progressed in their dissertation stages. Therefore, they are exempted. For more information, you can read this section on the VLE. And then we move on to the part where you should finalize your thesis. We clearly state for you here that your thesis should be between 80,000 words to 100,000 words. It should not be below 80,000 and should not exceed 100,000 words. Sometimes doctoral students think that as longer is the thesis, the better it is, but this is not true. So make sure that you're within those word counts. Here you can find the recommendations, and we say what is included in the word count and what is not included. So once you submit your thesis for the first time, the doctoral dissertation examination officers will check this. They will check the word count. They will check that you follow the template. As you can see, we have specific templates for your student for the thesis. You need to strictly follow the template. Do not use any other templates. Let's see it in more details probably. Okay. Here you can find that we have a complete thesis template and thesis guidelines. Let me open it for you. Let's go to the thesis guidelines. And this document in quite detailed in description for the guidelines and what you should follow. We discuss here what language style you should use. We use British English. Okay, so once you finalize your thesis for examination stage, make sure you use British language. The templates, you need to use the doctoral thesis template, so you should follow the template with the first pages as well. You use the title page, you need to include correct title page, correct sequence of the pages just before you start the actual thesis, the acknowledgement, dedication, and so on. The page title information should include UNICAF logo as it is on the template. It should have the thesis title, okay, with actual title of your thesis, with the latest title of your thesis. You include your full name, you replace this, your full name, with your actual name as it is on the VLE. The university location, you use UNICAF University in Zambia or UNICAF University in Malawi. It should be specifically stated, and month of the year of the final submission. Okay, you include the actual month when you submit it. And then we will see when you will actually proceed to the Viva examination. Clearly, we provide here guidelines on the word count, as we said, from 80 to 100,000 words. What is not included in the word count? The text should be in Word format. You use Times New Roman or Arial font style. Okay, and more details on the font used, specific margins and page numbers. In the templates, the information should be correct. So you just need to fulfill that template. Specific information about the abstract declaration and declaration regarding your AI use, AI acknowledgement. As we know, there is a quite wide use of AI. There are some restrictions. You cannot use it for production of the actual text or using it for actually paraphrasing the text. Please visit the Student Help Center. There is a specific section regarding academic plagiarism, AI, and all other types of misconduct. If there is something, so please make sure you visit the Student Help Center. You complete in this exact sequence, as we state on the template: copyright page, dedication, acknowledgement, table of content. It's preferred, it's easier for you if you use automated table of content. Read about it or check on the internet how to do it automatically. Otherwise, it's going to be quite a headache to adjust it accordingly. Okay, images, figures, there is specific, we follow APA formatting style. So these tables and figures provided in the APA formatting style. So exactly, you need to do it exactly. You use the figure one and they use the title in italic below, and then you provide your figure. The referencing, as we said, we use in APA formatting. You include your appendices and further information regarding the referencing to your own thesis or referencing to your thesis in your publications. And very useful tool we provide in your thesis guidelines is the doctoral thesis formatting checklist. Before you proceed and submit your thesis on the VLE, take this checklist. You can download it from this link and go through it. Make sure that all the sections ticked positively, okay, that you ensure that the word count is correct, the title page, as you can see. And in case if something isn't clear for you, you can go to the page of this thesis guidelines document and find more information how it should be properly formatted. Use this tool. It's very important. It will save your time and not to go back and forth with the doctoral school, because we have to make sure that the thesis form follows the formatting. At the end, your thesis will be published on our repository. If you visit our website, UNICAF University website, you can find there is a section for thesis repository, and you can see previous theses that were uploaded there, and in public use, you can download them as well. Yes, here. So we discussed the thesis template. And once you complete it, you submit your thesis for supervisor's review. The supervisor should grade it. They will confirm that we can proceed with the evaluation, and we will come back with our feedback. At the same time, it's very important that you will need to submit quite a number of documents that you have submitted previously at previous stage, at stage 3 and 4. Why we do it again here? Because at this module, we need to combine all the package of documents and to make sure that it's in line with our regulation. And I will invite now Ms. Sofia Lambro to explain you a little bit more about these different sections in the documents.
Thank you very much, Dr. Navahadskaya. Okay, hello everyone, and welcome to Surviving the Viva. I would like to take this opportunity to offer some recommendations as you prepare for the doctoral dissertation examination stage. Okay, so by this point, you have already collected the data of your study following the approval of your ethics application by the Ethics Committee in stage 3. Please note that the Research Degree Committee will evaluate the following key requirements, which you are required to submit at DD. It is a student's responsibility to reach out to the National Research Ethics Committee, professional regulatory bodies such as an institutional review board or the ministry to confirm whether any additional approvals are required for your study. If your study does not require any further approvals, then you are advised to obtain a waiver from the relevant body confirming that your study is exempt from further approvals, as this will be requested for by the committee. Now, regarding the gatekeeper letters, please remember that the gatekeeper letter template approved by UREC in stage 3 is the official letter you should provide to the gatekeeper prior to collecting any data. Now, who are gatekeepers? They are individuals or organizations controlling access to your research settings or participants. For example, school principals, directors, or organizational leaders. Their approval is critical, and you must ensure that the gatekeeper letter is both signed and stamped. A letter without a signature and a stamp is not considered valid and cannot be reviewed and approved by the committee. If the gatekeeper does not have a stamp, then a signed letter clearly indicating their permission will suffice. Additionally, if you have an email trail with the scanned letter attached, you should submit that as supplementary evidence. Now, for the link of submission of local national research ethics approval documents on the VLE, please be advised to submit both the approvals from the local national committee as well as the gatekeeper letter together. Okay, so not just the approval from the national committee, but the gatekeeper letter as well, in case your study requires one. Now, moving on. Moving on to the importance of informed consent forms. You are required to submit all written and signed informed consent forms from all the participants who agree to participate in your study following the UREC approval. If your study involves minors, then you also need to submit the completed guardian informed consent forms signed by parents or legal guardians. It is essential that participants complete the section of the participant's name, signature, and date on the consent form to verify the participant's voluntary agreement to participate in the study. Now, in case you are using an online questionnaire, the process is slightly different but equally important. At the beginning of your online questionnaire, you must include an informed consent section. Participants should read this section and indicate their agreement, whether by ticking a box or typing yes, before proceeding to answer the questions. It is also critical to use the exact consent wording from the UREC-approved template when creating your online tool. Now, please remember, verbal consent is not accepted under any circumstances. All participants must provide written consent. Data obtained without this will not be approved by the committee. Now, for interviews conducted online, please note that the written consent remains a mandatory requirement. Participants can provide a scanned copy or a photograph of their signed informed consent form, which must be submitted to the school as part of your documentation. Additionally, all data collected and analyzed for your thesis constitutes the raw data that must be submitted for review. For tools completed physically, you are required to scan and submit all completed forms as well as the interview audio recordings and their transcripts. In case where online questionnaires have been utilized, then the raw data should be provided in Excel, including participants' responses to the consent section. Now, doctoral researchers are expected to manage and store raw data securely throughout their research. Loss of such data is a serious issue that can compromise the integrity of the study. Any data loss must be reported immediately to the primary supervisor and the School of Doctoral Studies. Failure to report may constitute academic misconduct. For details, procedures, and institutional responses, you can refer to the document Loss of Raw Data, Required Actions, and Institutional Response on the Student Help Center. Now, I want to emphasize that all these documents, the signed gatekeeper letters, completed informed consent forms, and raw data are mandatory. The committee will review them to ensure everything is in place before you proceed to your Viva. Further guidelines can be found in the section of raw data management and preservation in the student handbook, which outlines the essential protocols doctoral candidates at UNICAF University must adhere to throughout and following the data collection process. These guidelines are intended to uphold research integrity, ensure security, support ethical compliance, and meet institutional and academic standards. Thank you very much, Dr. Navhatskaya.
Thank you, Ms. Lambro. That was actually very important information, and we should say that there were cases where students lost raw data, and it should have been evaluated by the committee, and we had to take some negative decisions. Therefore, make sure that you protect your raw data, you save them at different places, and maybe you could share it with your supervisor, share it with your school, and have it also saved on your drive. Because at any point, the school may request the raw data, or your supervisor, or even after the Viva Voce examination, the examiners may request you to reanalyze your data or to see your raw data. You should be able at any point provide this data. So after all this submission of all this package of documents, we proceed to the submission of external examiner request form that was shown to you before. Make sure you complete it, sign it with your supervisor, and submit it here. And you, after the approval of your thesis, you can proceed and submit your thesis mock presentation. As we said, you use your actual PowerPoint presentation that you intend to use for your Viva. You prepare it and you share with the school. It will be reviewed by the school, and we will come back with the pre-Viva Voce examination date. What is pre-Viva Voce examination? As we said, this is just, this is like actual examination, but that is done within the faculty members of the school. There are no actual examiners, but they will act as actual examiners. They are the experts in the field. Therefore, they will evaluate your thesis presentation, and you will be issued the decision. The committee may recommend some changes to you. Therefore, you will need to proceed with the changes and discuss it with your supervisor. once the supervisor and the committee approves the changes, you will be allowed to proceed to actual Viva examination. Once you finalize your mock presentation, finalize your final version of the mock presentation, you submit it at this section, and you proceed to the submission of post-pre-Viva thesis submission. What is it? Post-pre-Viva. You made corrections to your thesis following the pre-Viva examination report and decision. You made the changes and you submit it here. For Viva Voce examination, you will need to proceed with finalizing and submitting the thesis. It doesn't show here. It will appear once it's graded before. The link will appear here to submit your thesis for the examiner's review. Okay, it should be approved by the school prior to that, before you will be allowed to submit the actual final thesis for the examiner's review. Yeah. For Viva Voce examination, you submit your thesis presentation, and following the Viva Voce examination, the examiners will produce the combined report. Prior to examination, they separately submit reports. Separately, the internal examiner produces their own report and the external examiner produces their own report. They don't see each other's report. Then they proceed to Viva examination. Both examine the doctoral candidate at the Viva examination. Then they discuss together without the doctoral candidate and the supervisor present the decision. And they will combine their both reports to one report and announce the decision. This decision will be uploaded on the Vili and shared with the doctoral examiner, with the doctoral candidate, and we will inform you about the next steps that you need to follow and the amount of extensions you are provided. In cases, if it's without corrections, you may submit it within a week or two. Or at any other decisions, you may see the regulations, rules and regulations for the Viva Voce examination and see more details regarding the submission, regarding the further steps. So after the Viva Voce examination, the decision will be shared with you, and you will be also, and we will announce to you the date when the thesis should be submitted to the examiners for the review. In case if it's no corrections, minor corrections or major corrections, only the internal examiners will double check and make sure that you made all corrections. In case if it's referral, both examiners will have to review, and they will also decide if the second Viva examination is required. It's up to them to decide on that. So you should submit your thesis on time. In case you don't do this on time, the decision will be changed to fail. So in case you need any extensions, keep in touch with the school, inform us about it, request an extension, and upon the approval by the research degree committee and the examiner, it will be reviewed. The reasons for extension will be reviewed, and probably you will be provided with extension. So this is final submission. You will not be available. It will not be available to you unless the thesis is finally approved by examiners and it's allowed to go to a repository. So this is the submission that will be open for you at a later point. And you will need to submit also the consent form for the student, and the supervisor as well will need to provide a consent form allowing you to publish or to include the thesis in the thesis repository. And now we come to the end of the stage. I should invite you to share your questions. Let us know at which stage you are. If you're still expecting your Viva, expecting to go to doctoral dissertation examination, or you have completed your pre-Viva, do you have any questions regarding pre-Viva, Viva examination, thesis submission, anything related to this stage? Please use your section at the bottom of your screen, the Q&A section, and we will be happy to answer any questions you may have. And Ms. Kolomadromo, anything you would like to add to our candidates? You're muted.
Sorry about this. Okay, thank you, Dr. Novakhatskaya, and also we thank Mrs. Sofia Lambro for this informative and detailed presentation. Some comments I would like to share on my side with the students is that always to have in their mind that during their pre-Viva presentation, they should pay attention and do all amendments or correction the panelists will suggest to them, sign the decision form that will be submitted to them, and return it back to the school. During their Viva Voce examination, to make sure 100% that the internet connection is excellent and be well prepared to avoid rescheduling of the examination. Be polite and reply to any questions the examiners will make to them. And just, dear students, your replies must be precise and to the point so as to avoid any further questions. Be yourselves and defend your thesis, as you are the one who know best what your thesis is all about. And please try to reply on our emails on the same email chain, and make sure you see your supervisor to avoid any problems. Also, give us your contact information so as to be able to reach you at any given time. And just have in mind, as both my colleagues referred before, your word count of your thesis should be between 80 to 100,000 words. Your Turnitin score should be below 10%, and your consent form should be equal to the number of your participants signed and dated. So now, Dr. Novakhatskaya, shall we proceed with the question section?
Yes, let's do it.
Thank you. Okay. I will start with the first questions about the presentation template. Can I use my own PPP design, but with UNICAF University logo?
It is not recommended to use your PowerPoint presentation design. And that's why we created our own template, so that you keep it concise. And actually what I would recommend also, to avoid using a lot of decoration. Okay, we have also a webinar that shows you and explains you gives you some tips on the preparation of the presentation, also about the presentation skills. So I highly recommend that you use the UNICAF University PowerPoint template, just to avoid any back and forth in case the committee decides that it doesn't follow the structure or it's not appropriate for the doctoral level, just to be on the safe side.
Okay, the next one. When is one conferred with the doctorate after the Viva stage?
Mm-hmm. So what follows after the Viva? Depending on the decision, so there are different decisions. Pass with no corrections, you proceed to graduation, okay? The second one, pass with minor corrections, you're provided with 3 months extensions to make corrections. Proceed with major corrections, you are giving 6 months to correct your thesis. Referral, it's 1 year extension and you rewrite your thesis, and there is a fail as well. So depending on the decision, you will have so many months or no months to proceed with the corrections. Following that, we will need to give a minimum few weeks to the examiner to read your thesis and to confirm that you made the changes that are necessary. Following that, the thesis will go to the research degree committee for approval. Upon approval by Research Degree Committee, it will be moved to Senate. Okay, so once it's approved by Senate, it will be in the queue to go to graduation. The graduation is just once a year. Okay, so we will see where are you, but you can request from the university following the approval by Senate to provide you with the transcript, let's say. Okay, for this, you will need to contact your UNICAF registrar and request for that document.
Thank you, Dr. Mohatskaya. The next one, the university requires that the publication should be related to the title of the thesis. If a student published one of the objectives of the thesis and co-author with the supervisor, should index citations be used or just acknowledge it in the acknowledgement section?
Mm-hmm. In case you published with your supervisor, you will need to correctly cite your publication in the thesis and the future thesis in your publication prior to publication. So please download the student's handbook. There are some recommendations on how you can do it properly. Avoid publishing articles with actual copy-paste title of your thesis. Still, the thesis should be original research at the end. So it will be checked for by the Turnitin score for plagiarism. You should make sure that you do not use the exact text from your thesis. Okay, so it should not match exactly. But ideas from the thesis could be published before the actual defense.
Next one. If I have published a paper in collaboration with other authors before, does that count?
Mm-hmm. Again, the requirements for publications that will be counted as a publication are placed in the student handbook. So first of all, the topic of the publication should be related to the thesis. Okay, the major author of the publications should be a doctoral student. Okay, if the doctoral student is one of the last authors and less minimally contributed to the publication, this will be also evaluated. So if you are not sure about your publication, share it with the school and we will guide you on that.
Next one. If I use Quillbot to paraphrase, should I also declare it?
Actually, no tools should be used for paraphrasing because this is offense, okay, misconduct. Again, visit the Student Help Center, check what is allowed to do with AI and what is not allowed, and it may be detected by the Turnitin program, and it will cause questions. Some questions will arise, so try to avoid this. Okay, you should produce an original text, but not actually taking something from the article and paraphrasing it in using for your thesis. This is not a research. You need to produce an original text.
Okay, how do I submit all participant consent forms if they are about 400 as in my study?
Ms. Lambro?
Thank you very much. Okay, so if all 400 participants have physically replied, that's right, they have physically completed the consent forms, then you are required to scan them or take pictures of the complete consent forms, okay? And you can then combine them all into one document or save them on a drive. So saving them on a drive is quite easy to use because afterwards, when you do have to submit it to the school, you can copy paste the link to the drive in a document and submit it on the VLE or share the link to the drive with the school so we can proceed with the review of the completed consent forms. Thank you.
Thank you very much. And maybe if the document is going to be too big using the 400, you can break them down in several documents. So this is not a problem. Okay.
So, if we can repeat about the publication requirements, please.
Yes, for UNICAF University in Malawi, the doctoral candidate, before proceeding to Viva examination, should have at least one peer review publication accepted for publication in peer-reviewed journal. It should be directly related to the student thesis. It should be affiliated with the university. So when you submit your publication to the journal and they ask you about affiliation, you should include your university as well. If you also are employed with other universities, you can use two affiliations. Okay. So as we said, it should not be copy-pasted from your actual thesis because it will elevate Turnitin score. And for further written clarifications on the publication requirements, please download the student handbook and have it with you.
Thank you. The next one. If I had a study of 1,000 participants, I uploaded all my consent forms. My questionnaire consists of 6 to 8 pages. Will I also be asked to scan and upload all my questionnaire or just the Excel spreadsheet where I uploaded? Because scanning all 1,000 will be so many pages, a lot of work.
Yes, I understand. 1,000 participants with 6 to 8 pages of each questionnaire is quite a lot of work. However, these will have to be scanned for each participant, okay? So you can start initially scanning each questionnaire and then you will have to submit it to the school, as mentioned before, maybe even through a link to a drive. And in case the participants have responded to online questionnaires, you can then submit the responses of the online questionnaires in Excel format, okay? So if they have submitted, if they have completed the questionnaire physically, then you will have to scan all completed questionnaires. Thank you.
Okay, please, can we now, we know the rationale behind the school's running Turnitin check from page 1 of the thesis template up to the appendices when it is clear that there are generic items that will be scored, for example, an uptial fulfillment of the, and appendices include copies.
Of course, we know that some parts of the thesis are common. There is a template for the thesis. And in case there is a high Turnitin score for the first pages, it's just ignored by the supervisor and the school. It will be excluded, okay? And of course, you cannot submit separately the first parts of the thesis separately, appendixes separately. Of course, you will submit it in one document. Therefore, it will be run through Turnitin check, but the school, the supervisor are aware about the template and it will be excluded. So don't worry about it.
So next one, how long does generally take for the internal and external examiners' final thesis review?
Ms. Komodromo, I think you can answer this question.
Thank you, Dr. Novatskaya. Usually we give them up to 1 month for their final review to go through the thesis.
So they will need about a month, yeah?
About a month,
minimum,
yes.
Minimum,
yes, thank you.
But also it will depend on the availability of the school for the Viva examination, because there should be a slot available. And if it's not available exactly in 1 month, it may be in 5 weeks and it will be more time given to the examiner, correct?
Okay, go to the next one. I'm expecting to start my comprehensive examination in July. What should I start preparing so that everything goes on smoothly?
Now we are talking about comprehensive examination. This is not a doctoral dissertation examination, just for clarification. You have completed your taught modules. After the taught modules, you have comprehensive examinations only for UNICAF University in Malawi. After that, you will start your research modules. It's the doctoral dissertation stage 1, 2, 3, and 4. Following that, you will have your doctoral dissertation examination, and this is what we are talking about here, about the Viva Voce examination. For comprehensive examination exam, you do not have the Viva.
The next one. My name is Rosalind. Thank you so much for the presentation. How can we get copies of this presentation to enable us read and understand fully, as you are a bit fast when presenting? My contact information. Okay.
So we will share the recording of today's examination with you on the Student Help Center. So you can find also now, you can find the previous versions of this webinar. But the fresh one, today's Viva Voce Surviving the Viva Day, will be shared following the, the editing. After that, you will be able to watch it several times if you wish.
Okay. Please, as part of the raw data, are we required to scan and submit all questionnaires answered by the participants?
That is right. So in case all your participants have completed physical forms of the questionnaires, then you are required to submit all scanned questionnaires and informed consent forms. In case your participants completed the questionnaires online, then you are required to submit the responses to the online questionnaires in Excel format with the incorporated response to the consent section. Thank you.
Okay. From Trinidad someone, dissertation 4 question. When submitting the final thesis, I'm combining the previous chapters which were submitted through Turnitin. Won't this cause problems with Turnitin for final thesis?
This is what we mentioned regarding the template as well. We are expecting from you to submit your chapters or the parts of your thesis several times, because we do not expect you to write from the first time your final chapter 1, okay? Through your course of your research, you will need to update your previous chapters, of course, and you will need to resubmit them again. So this is completely understandable, and we have the option to exclude your previous submissions, okay, and to ignore them, okay? So when you combine your chapters together in one, a doctoral dissertation examination, your previous submissions at different stages from 1 to 4 will be excluded, and it will be reviewed as an original research, but we can identify whether this was submitted by you or any other researcher. We can, if we can see that this part of the report that indicates high similarity to the specific document, we can see what is that document. Is it really your submission or someone else's submission? So it's quite clever. The Turnitin is quite clever, and we can adjust the report. Yeah. So.
Okay, I heard you saying that every section and chapter have their own word count requirement. However, I read somewhere that they should not worry much about the chapter and sectional word count as long as the thesis has 80 to 100,000 words. Which is which?
Of course, each thesis is different. That's why we cannot provide a strict number of words for each section or for each chapter. You're also at different disciplines. We have someone from business, we have someone from education, IT, and so on. So we cannot strictly limit you and say that chapter 1 should be 10,000 words. But of course, there are some, reasons behind that. For example, chapter 1 cannot be just 1,000 words. And you should critically review your own chapters, and your supervisor will review them and provide feedback. But of course, at the end, the thesis should be between 80 to 100,000 words.
The next one says, will they use Grammarly to edit the thesis, not reflect as plagiarism after submission?
It might show as not as plagiarism, it might show like AI use. What is important, we have in the beginning of the thesis, there is a section of AI acknowledgement. You should clearly state how AI tools were used for your thesis. Make sure that you use them responsibly. As we said, check the Student Help Center section and see what is allowed and what is not allowed, what type of AI is allowed, and what type of let's say content generation is not allowed, or the use of for paraphrasing is not allowed, because you do not write your own content in this way. So be careful. You need to produce your own thesis, your own text, but you can use Grammarly for proofreading. It should be always clearly stated in the AI acknowledgement page as well that you used it for proofreading only.
Next one, is it allowed to publish as many as you can based on the number of objectives that you have, or only one publication?
This is the minimum requirement, minimum one accepted publication. So you can publish as many as you want. Sometimes we have examiners who specifically before proceeding to review your thesis, they will ask, did this doctoral candidate publish any articles? So it's very important. If your article is accepted to the peer-reviewed journals, it means that you actually significantly contributes to the body of knowledge. Okay, so it's publishable research. So you can publish as many as you want, but just make sure that you do not use exact text from your thesis.
Okay, a student is asking if we can repeat how they are going to access various documents and templates discussed here.
Mm-hmm. Once you are allocated, or once you enroll to Doctoral Dissertation Examination stage, which is 995, module 995, you will have all your documents in front of you. But if you're not still there, you can visit this help center, and some documents like Viva Voce Examination rules and regulations are present there. You can find them on the Student Help Center on the VLE prior to enrolling to this stage.
Okay, the next one. Why is that the candidate should resubmit the documents already submitted, like consent forms, etc.? Why can't the committee use the already submitted documents?
Thank you very much for the question. Well, we understand that certain documents, such as the consent forms, may have been submitted previously. Resubmission is often necessary to ensure that the accurate versions are on file, especially when evaluation is being carried out at different stages. Additionally, for consistency and compliance with ethical and institutional requirements, the committee must review a complete set of documents as part of each formal submission. This also helps to avoid any discrepancies, missing documentation, or outdated information that may have changed since the original submission. Thank you.
Thank you, Sophia. I'm waiting. Now the next one. I'm waiting for Pre-Viva presentation. Thanks for the nice presentation. During the Pre-Viva or Viva, in case the network collapses for some reason beyond my control, what should I do?
We have some cases like this. Of course, we understand that some of the students are coming from the areas which do not have stable connection. It's good to inform the school that you may expect some disruptions in the connection, and also we ask our examiners to understand this and to support our students. Of course, if the connection is lost for more than 10-15 minutes, it should be the pre-Viva or Viva should be rescheduled. But if you just log off from the meeting and you come back again, everyone is going to be waiting for you there, and we are expecting to continue the examination. So it depends on the circumstances. We had cases like this. We will try to accommodate.
The next one. After this presentation, probably means pre-Viva presentation, when will we be hoping for the Viva examination? When will we expect to be invited for Viva examination?
It depends on the results of pre-Viva examination. If the examiners or the faculty requests a lot of changes or corrections or clarifications, they will also provide you with the due date when you should submit your corrections. So you submit your corrections, you submit your corrected thesis if necessary, and once it's approved, we will need to give to the examiner minimum 1 month, plus we will check for the availability of the next slot for Viva examination. For example, now we are scheduling for August. Yes, Ms. Komodromo?
Yes, middle of August and after.
Yes, so
After
as you can understand, so after middle of August, if you're ready now, and also, of course, we check with the availability of examiners. They will tell us, okay, I am available these days, and we will need to coordinate between the student, the supervisor, the school, and the examiners. Okay, so it's quite a complicated process.
Okay, the next one is, what is the implications for self-plagiarism?
Self-plagiarism, if we are talking about previously submitted text to the publications, it will not be accepted. That's why we say that you should not use exact text. Or if it was submitted to the other university, imagine you had, we had several cases like this. The student wants to check their Turnitin, and instead of submitting your thesis to the VLE at UNICAF, they are trying to submit it to other university. Okay, at the other university, they check the Turnitin, they say, okay, that's fine, and they bring into this UNICAF university. We pass it through the system, and it shows that it has 100% similarity with the thesis that was submitted to another university. This is not going to be accepted because this thesis now is binded, okay, is legally attached to another university. It was previously submitted to another university. And what are the implications here? You will have to request from the Turnitin administrator of another university to remove from the database your thesis in order to resubmit it to UNICAF and to have it clear. Have in mind that this will take a minimum a month in order to remove it from the database of another university. So it's better to submit it to UNICAF and to see that it's high Turnitin, and you will redo your work. If it's your thesis, not the assignment at the TOT module. If it's your thesis, you will redo your work and you will reduce your Turnitin instead of submitting your thesis to another university. It's not criminal to have just a little bit higher Turnitin for your thesis. We understand this, that it may happen, but you will detect it and you will address this issue. I hope that's clear. Yeah.
Okay, we go to the next one. A student says, what I mean is the thesis is my own words, but I use Quillbot to make it sound academic.
One of the skills that doctoral students should acquire is to write academic texts. Using the Quillbot to produce academic texts, you are substituting your skill with something else. At the end, when you receive your doctoral degree, you are awarded a doctoral degree, and the university confirms that you have the knowledge and ability to write at the doctoral level, to produce academic text. So this is a big mistake to use tools to produce academic text. You can see that what you can do, you can use these tools in order to guide you how to make my text more academic, and you do it yourself. In this case, you will learn how to write academic texts. You will acquire this skill, and the doctoral degree will be awarded to you, and you will deserve it. It's very important that you learn how to do it. Please avoid. Ask Quillbot to give you tips on how to write academic texts in education field. Or you can use one paragraph, just a test. Tell me, what should I do in order to transform this text to academic? Show me my mistake, but do not upload all text. You use a piece of text or something irrelevant to your thesis and learn how to do this. Avoid to use AI, because we want to be proud of you. We want you. That's why we also want you to be able to publish in peer-reviewed journals. If your text, if your article is not written in academic language, it will not be accepted to peer-reviewed journal. You need to prove that you are an academic, that you are a doctoral researcher. Yeah.
Okay, so what exactly does the term local ethics mean in an academic context? If an article is published in an internationally recognized journal, isn't that sufficient to ensure its scientific legitimacy?
Okay, thank you. That is a great question. So in academic research, local ethics refers to the ethical approval or oversight required by institutions, communities, or regulatory bodies within the geographic or institutional settings where the research takes place. This includes ethical considerations specific to cultural norms and sensitivities, local laws and regulations, institutional policies, vulnerable population, or sensitive topics. Okay, now publication is in an internationally recognized journal does imply that the study met certain scientific and ethical standards at the time of the submission and according to the journal guidelines. However, this does not replace the requirement for local ethical clearance. Journals are not ethics enforcement bodies, okay? Ethical standards vary by region, and local ethics boards are better positioned to evaluate risks specific to the context, especially in cross-cultural or international research. So it's responsible of the researcher is expected to secure both institutional and local ethics approvals before conducting studies, especially those involving human participants. Thank you.
Thank you. The next one. Can a publication be made in UNICAF's journal?
Of course. On the website of UNICAF, you can find the section for UNICAF journal. There are several calls available. You can submit your publication there. Also, what I would like to mention, that those who attended UNICAF University Graduate Conference, UGRAC Conference. You remember we had in March. You were invited to publish a paper in UNICAF University Graduate Papers. Well, we have about 65 students who attended UNICAF University conference. So you were all sent the call to attend, to submit your publication to the journal, and it will be considered as a peer review publication. Why? Because there will be two independent reviewers. It's going to be blind review of your publication. You will be provided with feedback. You will need to make corrections. It's an actual peer review process. So whoever has publication in UGRASP, UNICAF University Graduate Papers, those who attended the conference and they proceeded with publications, they will be covered. Okay, so take your time, see the call. There is still time. We will provide extension for submission of publications between us. Okay, so we will provide extensions so you will be able to submit your papers. Whoever did not attend the conference and you still have time, make sure you attend next year, or you submit your publication to UNICAF journal. Another option, you discuss with your supervisor maybe to suggest to you to which journal you should submit your publication. Discuss it. Use your supervisor to advise you on that.
Okay, the next one. If we have been graded at every stage of the research and the grades have been good, then why is there a chance of failure? And what happens when a student fails?
Mm-hmm. Doctoral thesis, and thesis defense, it's a process, okay? So by producing a chapter 1 at stage 1 doesn't mean that you will collect your data properly, you will do your analysis correctly, and you will meet the goals and objectives of your research. The same as producing chapter 2 and writing an actually good literature review, again, does not secure that your results and conclusions will satisfy the criteria for doctoral level. It's not 1 + 1 = 2. At the end of you continue with your 4 stages. You submit separate thesis chapters. But when you combine them all together, once you complete your chapter 5, you will need to go and change parts of chapter 1, 2, because chapter 2 was written 3 years ago or 2 years ago. There are more publications available now in this sector. You will need to go back and update literature review. So it doesn't mean that you received satisfactory grade before, that you will produce satisfactory thesis at the end. Plus, it's not just the thesis, it's the thesis defense at Viva examination, where examiners or experts in the field will examine you and they will see, are you a specialist in this field? Can you defend and justify all the tools or provide clear answers and justifications to your results? Okay, so it's not so straightforward. And if someone fails the thesis, what happens? It's just a fail. That's it. The doctoral degree is not awarded to this student. This is a fail.
So, if the participants fill the Google form, how will I get them to fill and submit the consent form separately?
Okay, so if the questionnaire is being completed online, okay, or on Google Forms, you should be including the informed consent section at the very beginning of the form. So you will have already been advised by the ethics committee that if you go on the UNICAF informed consent form template, there is the section that says about consent, informs the patient, the participants of the consent. You will be asked to add that section on the Google form so participants can anonymously select yes or no, whether they wish to provide consent or no, and proceed with the Google form and responding to the questions. Now, once the participants have completed the Google forms, you will receive the response, and you can also see if they have indicated yes or no to the consent. Thank you.
Thank you. If I heard it well, did you mean publication is not requirement for UNICAF University Zambia?
For the time being, is not obligatory. But as we said, it is soon expected to be obligatory. Of course, some of the students who are already enrolled at the dissertation examination stage would be exempted. But I would suggest that you really move to that direction and try to publish anyway. You will need to publish to update your academic records, and it's good to publish. It's good experience, and see that how much time do you have in front of you. Maybe you could do it now.
Okay. What is the average time to wait between pre-Viva and Viva schedule, assuming the pre-Viva was approved to proceed?
Following pre-Viva examination, if the pre-Viva was approved, then you will need to submit your final thesis to the VLE. And the school will proceed with checks of your thesis. Here, that's why I told you before that the formatting of the thesis is very important, and that from the beginning, I suggest that you follow the checklist and you make sure that the thesis is exactly formatted according to the template. So it may take some time for us, first of all, to check your thesis and for you to finalize the formatting. And if there are any other things to be polished before they are shared with examiners, then we will need to proceed and agree with your examiners that they agree to proceed with your examination. It may take about 2 weeks. Once they agree, we will finalize the date for Viva examination. Minimum, we need to give them 1 month to read your thesis. It's quite a big piece of work, so they need some time. So I would expect about 2 months. But of course, it's different for each case.
Thank you, Dr. Mahatskaya. The next one. If I understand correctly, it is necessary to publish at least 2 articles before the thesis can be finalized. Is it acceptable to list the local supervisor as a co-supervisor or co-advisor on the thesis title page?
If you are a student at UNICAF University in Malawi, it is necessary to publish and at least the article to be accepted to peer-reviewed journal, 1 article. It's the minimum requirement. But regarding this, the authors, what do you mean by local supervisor? I didn't understand. As a co-supervisor or core advisor, it could be co-author. Okay, if you have your own supervisor of your thesis, you have your supervisor of the thesis. In case you both contribute to your publication, and most probably they contribute because they guide you through this process, they could be co-authors of your publication, but it should be agreed between you and the supervisor.
Next one, I have overstaged my registration, which will be 6 years in 6 months. So I am given 6 months to complete my studies. I am currently in stage 4. What happens if I do not complete in 6 months?
Indeed, it's recommended that you complete it within 6 months. There are some exclusions exemptions when you can request for intermissions. Okay, so please contact the school, and I would recommend to all doctoral students to be aware and to be conscious about this, the duration of the study. And in case you believe that probably you will not finish on time, contact the school and we will guide you what could be done at your situation, because all situations are different.
They kindly advise in case whereby the participants are not willing to participate. What should I do?
Sophia, you would like to answer?
Yes, of course. Thank you. So, if participants are not willing to take part in your study, you must respect their decision without pressure or persuasion. Voluntary participation is a core principle of research ethics, and participants have the right to decline or withdraw at any point without negative consequences. However, here are some steps you can take. Respect the participant's decision. You can document the non-participation, okay? You can review your requirement strategy, consider broadening your sample, and seek advice from your supervisor and your ethics committee, okay? So in case you are going through this challenge, you can send an email, including your supervisor and the ethics committee, on how you can proceed further. Thank you.
Thank you, Sophia. Okay, during Viva Voce examination, can I refer to the hard copy of my dissertation? I'm about to do my mock presentation.
Yes, it's allowed to have your thesis printed next to you, because even sometimes examiners may ask you to go to a specific page of your thesis. So it's allowed to, for example, to print it and have it next to you.
Okay, the next one. Should the sorry,
NVivo and
NVivo
SPSS.
and SPSS software be declared underused AI tools for the thesis?
No, of course, these are the statistics tools and they are not the AI tools. So do not declare them.
Okay. In case you have published your literature review with your supervisor, can you go ahead and submit the same document for publication at UNICAF after your presentation?
You cannot publish the same material twice, because it will go through Turnitin check and it will show that it was published. Generally, in academia, you cannot publish the same result twice, exactly the same publication. That's why we have these plagiarism checks. It will not be accepted, of course.
Okay. When are we going to be invited for Viva examination? How many weeks are we usually given to get ready for the examination?
Once you register to doctoral dissertation examination stage, you will be in close collaboration, close communication with Ms. Komandromo, who will guide you when are you going to be ready for Viva examination. Of course, you will need to complete all the sections on the doctoral dissertation examination module, and you will be guided what are the steps and what is the sequence and how much time you need to go to the Viva.
Thank you. Yes, my next module is doctoral dissertation examination. In short, what am I supposed to prepare for? Am I also supposed to submit the documents already submitted and the committee signaled me to go to this last module in my studies?
Sophia.
I would just like to mention that you will be asked to submit the informed consent forms, the raw data, and the local approvals that you submitted for dissertation stage 4. You will also have to submit them for the examination stage. Dr. Novatsky, is there anything you would like to include?
What I'm supposed to prepare for, you prepare for combining your thesis in one document, submitting it for review, proceeding to upon approval, you proceed with your pre-viva presentation preparation. You prepare your PowerPoint, you present it to the committee, to the faculty first, internally. They provide you with feedback. If necessary, you make corrections. You submit it again. Once it's approved, you are allowed to proceed to Viva examination. This is in short. When are you planning to enroll to doctoral dissertation examination? If you still have time, just download the student handbook and see the sections of the doctoral dissertation examination that you will need to follow. Or you can view again the same recording of today's open day and to see it again what you need to do at this point.
Thank you. The last one, is there a way as candidates we can see the AI report when we submit the thesis?
I'm afraid that you cannot see this report. Probably it's only visible to the tutor, but you could request and ask the tutor to share with you what was the AI score, and also with the School of Doctoral Studies. But just to let you know that AI score is not evaluated separately from the thesis as a whole document, from the Turnitin report for plagiarism, and from your own work, that actually the structure of your thesis and the way how you write your thesis. We can recognize that you are using the AI tool. It's not in all cases we need to see the AI report to understand that the AI tool was used. So don't try to cheat. Try to be honest, try to gain the skills that you're supposed to gain as a doctoral candidate. And we want us to be proud of you. We want you to be proud of yourself by actually that you deserve this doctoral degree, that you will be awarded at the end. And we wish you good luck in that. And I think for today, we finished with the questions. Yeah. We wish you all good luck. We can see that many participants attended today. We hope to see you soon at the doctoral dissertation examination stage.
Thank you for joining. Goodbye, everyone.
Goodbye. Bye-bye.